I hope y'all are entertained. The Jacksonville Jaguars just gave y'all a thrilling victory, 30-29 in overtime against the Raiders. I'll talk about it here on the postgame show, Locked On Jaguars.
You are Locked On Jaguars, your daily Jacksonville Jaguars podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
It is your team every day here on Locked On Jaguars. We thank you for making us your first listen. I'm Tony Wiggins, the host of the Locked On Jaguars podcast that you can find wherever you get your podcasts. Just make sure you tap in just like you're doing right now. If you're an everydayer, we thank you for joining us, and we appreciate you being an everydayer. If you're new here, thank you for coming in, and hopefully you will be an everydayer as well. All right, let's just get right to it. We got two quick segments to talk about this game here on the post-game show. First of all, just win, baby. The Jacksonville Jaguars just won. Cam Little breaks an NFL field goal record with a 68-yarder. And guys that I have been critical of absolutely stepped up when they had to and when it mattered the most. So let's just get right to it. Just win. At some point, I even as a build-up to this game and on the Thursday crossover, one of the things that I said was I think this is going to be a very, very close game with both teams coming back off of a bye. Las Vegas had gotten a little bit healthy, and the Jaguars weren't at their healthiest. And then Travis Hunter goes out and on Wednesday and injures himself, and we find out late Thursday that he will not play in the game, or we found out Friday actually that he was going on IR and that he would not play. So that even led to more of my trepidation. And the Jaguars came out today and played early the way that they had been playing. Trevor Lawrence threw an ill-advised pass in the end zone when the Jaguars had like a 13-play drive early on. But he regrouped. I got to give him credit. He did regroup. He regrouped. Josh Hines-Allen showed up late when they needed to. And then it turned into just a shootout in the second half and a game that was very, very entertaining. And the reason why it was a shootout was because the Jaguars were into their depth heavy on their defense. Trayvon Walker, inexcusable. It's not in his character to do that, but I'm going to call a spade a spade. He hurt his team today because they were already shorthanded when he punched the guy and got ejected from the game. So I'm sure that will be addressed, and I'm sure you'll hear him talk about how he, has to do better. I don't know what led up to it, but the retaliation is always what gets caught. And then you think about Jordan Lewis being hurt early and had to leave the game. Eric Murray came in banged up. He tried to play, and then he got hurt, and he had to leave the game. So they were really into their depth, especially with Travis being out and not being able to play reps on the defensive side of the ball. Add in that Devin Lloyd still was not back yet, so they weren't at full strength on defense. And then Ezra Cleveland gets hurt and banged up on offense, and I didn't see him in some critical plays. And whoever number 70, I think it's Cole Van Lanner, was getting his handed to him by everybody that was lined up in front of him. Diami Brown gets injured, goes to the locker room, doesn't come out. Brian Thomas Jr. makes a big catch. He gets injured, goes out. And at some point, I'm like, this is a mass unit. MASH, rather. This is a mass unit. They were really, really being tested into their depth, and they needed something to happen. Tied the game up with a long field goal, got into overtime, got the ball first. And then they played behind their offensive line, and you saw what happens when a team actually what they do is when they have the chance to really commit to the run. Now I'll look at these stats real quick, and I'll do some quick adding here. It looks like 42 rushing attempts when you combine the 9 that Trevor had, along with 22 from Travis Etienne, where he had 84 yards, one being a 20-yarder. I don't mind the per yards per carry, because what happens is it worked over a period of time. And the Jaguars literally ran the ball down Las Vegas's throat in overtime and ended up scoring on a Trevor Lawrence touchdown where he reached over the top again and he held on to the ball, but he broke the plane, even though it was moving around a little bit. And then the Raiders got the ball back with like 2 minutes and some change left, maybe a little bit under 3 minutes. And they went bip, bip, bip right down the field. If y'all didn't know what an alpha dog looks like, you saw it today in number 89, Brock Bowers. That is what a true superstar a true number one receiver. That's why I wish Travis wouldn't have gotten hurt, because you'd have had a chance to see him go out there today and play against some of his contemporaries. Ashton Genty was out there, but to no avail. But you saw it firsthand. 3 touchdowns from Brock Bowers. I know the fantasy football people have been waiting on him all year long to come back and have a game like that. But yeah, man, big win for the Jaguars to get to 5-3. It's big because Houston lost today. So they're another game back. And then the Colts came back down to earth and got smacked around in Pittsburgh. They had like 6-7 turnovers. Daniel Jones looked like Daniel Jones in New York, and the Jaguars still have to play them twice. So there is just this hope. There is hope, man, that what we saw today is the Jaguars winning and gutting out a game where things just didn't look like they were going their way. And look, we're very close to sitting up here and talking about how bad things are. But let me tell you why I won't. Even though I was tweeting like I wanted to. But I'm going to tell you why I won't do it. Into the depth heavy. When it comes to their secondary, that is not something that's easy to overcome. Heavy into the depth at wide receiver. Ironically, both of those two things is where Travis Hunter helps the most, and he's not going to be available for at least another 3 games. Because he is on IR. They figured it out. They just said, you know what? We got to just rely on who we want to be, not who we have been. And they played behind that offensive line, and they wore Las Vegas out. And then outside of that early miscue on the goal line, Trevor Lawrence, he played like middle Georgia Trevor on the playground. And that's exactly what I think he is. When folks want to criticize me for saying stuff, I've been telling y'all that is when he is at his absolute best, when it is chaotic and he can just go back to just playing football without overthinking things. And the running game helped him. And even Josh Allen and Davon Hamilton, some guys came up big today. Monteric Brown. Names that you have heard for years around here that people really wanted to depend on. Well, you can depend on them today, because the Jaguars are 5-3, and they're going to get on that plane and come back to Duval and leave any problems that they have in Las Vegas, get back here and try to retool this thing. We're going to break it down a little bit more and talk about the man of the day. That's Cam Little, setting an NFL record for the Jacksonville Jaguars here today. We'll do it in just a second here on Locked On Jaguars.
Today's show is brought to you by our friends over there at Peloton. Look, folks, it's time to break through the busiest time of the year with a brand new Peloton cross-training Tread Plus that's powered by Peloton IQ. It's Peloton's most elevated technology and equipment yet that gives you real-time guidance, and it gives you endless ways to move, whether you want to work out by yourself or if you want to work out with your favorite instructor, like my personal favorite, Alex Toussaint. He always gets me fired up to tackle the day. And the thing I like about Peloton, it helps me achieve more in less times. They have features that help you plan, stay motivated, track your progress, and Peloton IQ also provides personalized workout plans and recommendations. That's something that I use right now during the busiest time of the year covering the NFL. They plan my workouts for me based on my mood, my vibe, and also my favorite instructors. So make sure you check it out and use it, because it also helps you correct your form in real time, and it maximizes your reps. It counts your reps so that you can do it smarter, safer, and more efficient. Let yourself run, lift, flex, push, and go. Explore the new Peloton cross-training Tread Plus at onepeloton.com.
And today's show is also sponsored by our friends over at FanDuel. The NBA is back, and there's no better place to get in on the action than FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Even if you missed the start of a game or want to ride the hot hand, FanDuel has live bets on everything from who will score next to fourth quarter comebacks. Plus, you can even combine your live bets into a same-game parlay for a shot at a bigger payout. It keeps every game exciting, especially when your team's making that late push. Right now, FanDuel is giving new customers $300 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. So head to FanDuel.com to sign up and play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. And today's show is also sponsored and brought to you by Supply House. When the opening whistle blows on a new repair, get your crew moving forward with Supply House. Order today and see parts on your doorstep tomorrow. Over 280,000 plumbing, HVAC, and electrical items from the most trusted brands in the business. Their real-time inventory and honest lead times keep you from punting projects, while their industry-leading customer service always has your blind side covered. If you need parts fast for a project, Supply House has next-day delivery. Talk about a game changer, man. That is one. So join the free Trade Master program today and score serious perks like priority shipping, lower prices, and a dedicated support line. Visit supplyhouse.com to sign up for free and use the promo code SHNFL, like Supply House NFL 5, for 5% off your first order. That's supplyhouse.com. Real people, real service. All right, man, we're moving and grooving here on the second half of the post-game show. Your Jacksonville Jaguars win 30-29 in Las Vegas. Wild and crazy things happen in Las Vegas. I was telling y'all why I wasn't going to be all nitpicky about what's going on with the teams, because I think they actually gutted it out because they had so many injuries, although there's still some stuff that needs to get cleaned up. I do believe at the end of the game, the offensive line redeemed themselves. It looked like somebody told them, "Hey, look, man, bow up here in overtime. We're riding you. Our receivers are hurt. Go win." Shout out to Tim Jones, too. Tim Jones has been on this team. They thought he was going to make it. And then all of a sudden this year he got cut. And guess what happened? Because of all these injuries, they picked him up and put him on the practice squad, and he made a huge catch today. So shout out to him for never, ever quitting and never giving up. We're glad that that was able to happen. But they got behind their offensive line today, man, and they wore the Raiders out in overtime. And good thing, because the passing game was off. Trevor decided he was going to also run whenever things broke down. That he had to run to get away from Max Crosby, who was terrorizing him just about all game. But they found a way to manage to get it done. Travis Etienne with some hard, tough running today. Bashal Tootin got into the end zone for the Jaguars. Brian Thomas Jr., no drops, big catch, got hurt, got rolled up a little bit, but big catch and run at some point. I think it was right there in the fourth quarter when the Jaguars needed it the most. Davon Hamilton with the batted ball. I'm pretty sure that whoever he was going to throw that ball to, Geno was going to throw that ball to, was probably open. So good thing for him too. That kick return game, they got to figure out how to keep people from getting close to midfield, and I'm sure Coach Heath's going to work on that with them, the special teams coordinator. They're going to fix that. But the play of the day, and this is the dude that's all over the thumbnail, is Cam Little, 68-yard NFL record kick. And at that point, in my opinion, that jump started the Jaguars. That gave them some momentum going into the half, and they came out in the second half and said, you know what? We're going to win this game. And then they had the confidence to go back to the kid, and he tied the game up with a 48-yarder. So I'm giving him an attaboy and a game ball. There were people that were going back and forth with me on social media. They were saying, I don't want to win this way. I'm like, the hell, I don't want to win this way. I just saw Green Bay lose a game today to a team that they shouldn't have lost to, Carolina. And I saw another game today, somebody else lost. Who else? It was a real good team. We know the Chiefs lost to the Bills, but that ain't the one I'm talking about. Green Bay. Green Bay lost to Carolina, and Minnesota beat Detroit in Detroit. So look, games are hard to come by and hard to win in the National Football League, right? Now I know the Raiders aren't a great team. They were 2-5 coming into the game, and then now they're 2-6. They're not a great team, but they got some pretty interesting parts. And the Jaguars almost did what we don't want them to be doing anymore, and that is become the antibiotic or the elixir to a team that's struggling. But yet and still, they were able to win. We have seen them lose games like this over and over. So when they win one, we're going to give them a little bit of credit. We're going to give Trevor Lawrence credit for regrouping and giving us yet another little taste of the Trevor Lawrence experience. Although he played really well down the stretch and in the second half, and he was leading his team, man, and he made a lot of smart decisions. So we're going to give him credit. Also, offensive line late. Also, every receiver that had to step up in kick return and overtime, all of these things matter. Everybody, next man up really was important today. We got some dudes in that secondary that need to practice tackling, but we'll get back to that this week after we find out the injury status of everybody. But they're 5-3, man. They're in control of everything now. At this point, I know they got a lot of football to play. They got some tough games coming up, but they haven't played the Colts yet, and they're only 2 games behind the Colts. This thing is right in front of them if you want to look at it from the standpoint of them having things to play for that are in their grasp and in their control. So good win. Enjoy it. I know you're worried about how it looked. I don't care. They got it. They won. This is something that they can build on because they did not quit. Even though they were hurt, they counted on people. Oh, shout out to Parker Washington, too, for looking like a number 1 receiver today. I got to give Parker Washington his credit because of all the injuries. He's another dude that really, really hung in there. But good win for Liam and the staff, man, and they did what they had to do. Their depth is being challenged a little bit at some tough positions that are hard to overcome, but that's all right. They won the game. Enjoy it. We'll start criticizing it tomorrow on Locked On Jaguars. We'll start peeling the layers back and going through and talking about the things that they need to do moving forward. But right now, they got a nice plane ride coming home where they could celebrate a victory, and they're going to clean things up anyway. I'd rather them clean it up 5-3 than cleaning it up 4-4. All right, you guys, make sure you tap in all week with me on Locked On Jaguars because we'll have it covered from front to back and go through all of the things from this game and then get an update on those injuries as well. Enjoy your victory today. It was hard-earned, and usually when you have a game like that where your heart is about to jump out of your chest, most of the time the Jags don't come through, but they came through today. So make sure you enjoy that, man. We appreciate you guys joining us here on Locked On Jaguars. As usual, we'll be here all week. If you're an everydayer, make sure you tap in. Thank y'all. I don't want to waste y'all time, man. 17 and a half minutes here, and I'm glad y'all joined me. Thank you for joining me again here on Locked On Jaguars.